CEO and founder of New Vision Networks. Today we're going to show you how easy it is to create integrations using our DataStar integration program. We'll be creating a custom integration from start to finish in less than 10 minutes. So let's begin.
Okay, so let's begin. What we're going to do is take a deposit made to a student's account in our SIS system called Big Data and have that automatically flow into our system, the iamx Advanced system. So the first thing we want to do is create our own database. We do not want to be in your Big Data database. We don't want to muck with your data at all. So we're going to create a new database called NVN. And we prefer you call it NVN so when we come in we know where to look for things if you need some help from us. And this is a staging database. So what we need for our integration is a table. And all we need really is the ID number, which we're going to make a float. And the amount. Which will make an nvar. Okay, so that's all we need for our integration table. Call it new deposits. And we're good to go. Now we do need a user though for this, so we're going to create a new login. And we're going to make it SQL Server authentication, call it me, and the password will be my password. The default database we want is NVN. Okay, we're good to go. Now, the big problem is with big data, there's often hundreds and hundreds of tables, and finding the information you want is sometimes rather difficult. You can call your supplier, and after half a day or sitting on the phone or so, you may find it. We found it much easier to use a little routine written by our friend Sorna Muthra, which searches your database for the information you're looking for. So let's do a new curate query, and his routine is called search tables. So what we usually do is go into the big data system and add an odd amount to an account. In this case we added $4.44, and then we search for that. And it shows us that $4.44 ended up in a table called TBL deposits, which makes perfect sense. And that it consists of an ID number and an amount, which is exactly what we need for our integration. So now we know that it's in TBL deposits. So to get to that information, we're going to put a trigger on a big data table. Here's our table, TBL deposits. We're going to put a trigger here. Well, actually it's here already. It's called deposit trigger. And let's look at that. It's a very simple thing. It uses big data. It's called deposit trigger, and it works on big data TBL deposits. After there's an insert, it inserts into our new deposits database and table the DID number and ACH amount, and from the old table, from the big data table, TBL deposits, it's going to select DID number and amount. So now we have a trigger in place. Whenever somebody puts money into a student's account, it will automatically enter into this table, and our work is done on the database end. That's all we need to do. Okay, so we're going to switch over to the DataStar integration controller. So we assume you've gone through our tutorial, so you understand the different windows and how they work. So we're just going to complete our integration. We have filled in all the fields for you, so you don't have to watch us type. And these are your integrations here, and these are destinations, places you can end up. And what we want to do is iamx Financial. We have an iamx Demographics and an iamx Financial. The difference is iamx Demographics, whenever it gets information from your temporary tables, it overwrites or inserts the new information in the table. With iamx Financial, it's assumed that you're putting money in an account. So if you're putting in this case we were putting in $4.44, and there was $5 in there, now it would be $9.44. It would add it to them or subtract if it was a negative number. So we created one called Auto Deposit. Here it is. Briefly, these are the things in our database, in our table, the IMX Advanced table, that you can work with the financial integration. We're working with declining balance. We're going to take that money that's in that table and we're going to put it in the declining balance column in our table, in our database. Okay, so you put your college name in and your integration name has to be unique because it's going to be the name of your log file. Your log file is going to end up being called autodeposit.txt. You have to put in how much time, how often you want to check this data. In this situation, we're making it 5 minutes. So if you put money in the account in big data, it's going to end up in IMX within 5 minutes. All right, let's look at our pool connection. Both these databases are on the local machine. So this is an SQL server. The server is local. This could be at one end of your campus. This could be at the other end. We don't care where the data is coming from or where the data is stored. If you're doing Oracle, you'll have to put in a service name. Okay, the database we're coming from is NVN, which is our staging database. The login is me and the password is my password, which we set up while we were over there. Okay, so where are we going to put this? We're going to put this in another SQL server, which is also on the local server. The database is ours, IMX Advanced. The login we're using is SA and the SA password. Okay, so now we have the pull connection, the push connection. We can test our connections. Go down here, click Connect, and hit Test Connections, and it will go out and try both of these connections, and we'll see what we got here. Prepare it, shows what it is. Instance created, connected to the push. And did we get a pull? Yes, there we go. Connected to the pull. It shows our connection string. If there's anything wrong with it, you can go back and correct it. But we're good connection-wise. Okay, so now the next thing we need to do is we need to tell it what we're getting out of the NVN database. We're getting it from a table called New Deposits, and we're selecting DID number. Now it just says DID number because the DID number exists here in New Deposits and here in our table. So it's exactly the same. You don't have to use an as. However, in the NVN database, we have ACH amount, and we have to change that to D declining balance. So we have ACH amount, which is in NVN, as D declining balance from TBL New Deposits, which is where we're getting it. And that is basically all you need to do for your integration. Okay, so let's test that in that pull. And let's go down here to pull, see what happened. Instance created, connected to the pull. Select DID number, ACH amount is from New Deposits. It returned 5 records. The fields it returned were DID number and D declining balance. And it succeeded. So we have created our integration. Now we have to decide how we want it to run. First time you go through, well, let's make it active. And the first time you go through, you may want to put it in debug mode. In debug mode, it forms all the SQL commands and it puts them in the log file, but it doesn't execute any of those. And you may want to look at them to make sure everything's okay before you actually go live. If it's something you do once a year, once you're ready to run it, you may want to click run once. It will run one time and it will turn off active, so it won't run again until until you click active again, which may be the beginning of the next semester or the beginning of the year. So let's say we want to do that. Now, the other thing you can do here is delete the records or keep the records. Now, since these are temporary tables in our NVN database, we want to delete them. We don't want to process them more than once. It would be a disaster if we kept reprocessing them. Every time we processed it, we would add $4.44 more to the account. So we definitely want to delete records in this situation, and we want to hit save, and your integration is complete.
Thank you for taking the time to look at our DataStar integration system. We are very excited to bring this product to you. Please check us out at www.newvisionnetworks.com. Thanks.